I thought it was a step in the right direction. My hat's off to those guys on the other sideline. They fought hard. We kind of got on them early with a special teams play, which was good to see. I guess they had a couple quarterbacks get hurt, so wish them the best. But I got a lot of respect for them, and um, hope that doesn't hold them back from having a good season. In general, it was a step in the right direction. We're certainly nowhere near close to what we need to be and can be yet, but there's a lot of good things tonight.
Coach, a lot of good individual performances, but Jaden Nixon in particular, starting off with the kick return and then those two long touchdown runs. Just talk about what he was able to give you tonight.
Yeah, I'm really happy for Jaden. It's just in a game like that, you never know who's going to get the big plays, and they fell on Jaden tonight. He did a really good job. One thing I wanted him to improve from last week is he had a tough run last week where we gave him the ball and there was nothing there and there was a guy in the backfield, but it should have been about a 2-yard loss and turned into about an 8-yard loss. And we've been talking to him. As fast as he is, he just needs to run through the smoke and make sure that he's not always trying to stop and juke. And he did a really good job of that tonight on offense and on special teams. So really excited for him to have the type of game he had tonight.
Scott, you went with Taven at quarterback tonight. What was kind of the thought process behind that, and how good was it to get all the quarterbacks maybe an opportunity to get out there and get some snaps?
Yeah, I'm excited about Taven. We missed on a couple things that I think we would hit most of the time, but I thought he played well. Had a really good week of preparation, and I saw a lot of growth from him. So really excited about where Taven is going. But I think you guys can see why we had a tough decision in camp. Cam started the thing out because of his consistency, and he was out because of injury today. And Taven obviously came in and played awesome last week and helped us pull one out. Did some good things tonight, and then you can see what Jakuri can do too. So it's good to have depth, and I'm excited to have those guys.
What kind of controversies does that create for you heading into the next game against UNC and then eventually conference play, having, like you mentioned, Fancher start, then Taven, and then Jakari impressing in the second half of this game?
I don't know if it's controversy. At least not in our house. It isn't. In our locker room, in our building, it isn't. Because those three kids are all a class act and they root for each other and have been pulling for each other even when they've been competing. And you look around the country and there's teams without one quarterback, definitely a lot without two. I feel good about three guys. So, that's a luxury for us. And we'll let them keep competing, but right now I'm really happy with the direction that we're going.
Is it another tough decision in the next few weeks?
No, I'm not going to create that. We got a bye week to think about it, see who's healthy and who's available, and we'll talk as a staff, but I don't think it's going to be tough.
What week-to-week improvements did you like most about your defense?
In a game like this, you're worried about coming out and playing at our level instead of, kind of our play not being as good because of an opponent that's, I got a ton of respect for them. They're just down a couple levels of football, and, we have more resources and just had some more horses than they did. But you want to make sure the team is playing up to our standard and not matching the level of competition. And I thought the defense did a great job of that and setting the tone early. Second straight week with us having a delay because of weather, and the guys handled that great, and they came out of the gates firing, so that was good to see.
Coach, you talked a little bit about depth, not only from the quarterback position, but how does it feel to kind of just see some of those younger wide receivers get an opportunity, rotate the DBs, rotate the defensive line? What would that do for you a little bit later down the line that they get these game reps on a game like this?
Yeah, it can help. I'm excited about a lot of those young receivers, but all of our receivers are fairly inexperienced, so it's good to get Burke and DJ and Speedy reps. It's also good to get CD reps, and I'm really excited about Waden going forward, and CJ and Burdell and Bridgewater, and there was a few plays tonight that we just missed, and a couple times it was just to throw a little off, and other times if we ran the route a little better. Those are the kind of details that we need to keep dialing in on, because that's the difference in making the play work against a good team or not. And I think there's a learning curve for all of us on our team with the limited experience that we have to try to fast track that experience and growth.
Jaden's kick return touchdown was the first since Mike Hughes back in 2017. So how much do you think it's important to have that be a weapon in kind of your arsenal? And what did you like about the kick return unit throughout the course of camp?
Pete Alomar does a great job with special teams. He's done a great job with special teams for a long time. It's great to have room on our staff for a full-time special teams guy. I did that job in LA. I helped Chase do the job in LA, and it's a full-time job just to do special teams if you want to do it right. So hats off to Pete. When that play hit, it looked eerily similar. I actually thought about it instantly when he kind of came up the hash and broke left, and I think he ran about the same track as Mike did back in the day. So it was a little bit of deja vu for me, but it was a good way to start the game.
Coach, obviously, it's still that part of the season where you're working to improve, get prepared as you approach, conference play in the next few weeks. But as far as penalties, where do you feel like the team is at with that, and how do you concentrate on that going into the bye week?
Yeah, we got to clean it up. Kind of the same thing again. I thought we were better discipline-wise tonight, but we're not close to there yet. Guys kind of making their own decisions, just some mistakes. The one drive they had, we gave them 30 yards in penalties. And the first one, I want our guys to go attack tackles, not catch them and then slam guys down. And, that's just something we got to learn. And we got another 15-yard penalty. Those kill you in tight games. And we had a few on offense like that, too. Got another Miles touchdown called back. I didn't see what happened on that one, so I got to look at the tape. But discipline matters, and we talk about every decision on our team being based on what's best for the team, not what's best for me. And I think we still have a little bit of, I know I'm supposed to do this on my assignment, but I'm going to go make this play instead of doing exactly what they have to. That's something we'll talk about a lot over the bye week.
In the second half, Jakari kept the ball on the ground a lot. Was that by design, or were you hoping he threw the ball with it?
Yeah, those games are tough because we're trying to be good, sportsmen with the game in a situation like that. But we also have a lot of guys that went all the way through camp and just wanted to play football. A bunch of those plays with Jakari running were plays where he had an option to give, keep, or maybe even throw an RPO. I actually thought the long touchdown he gave it, and I was watching Bridgewater run, and all of a sudden Jakari came shooting out. So he made the right read on that, and they kind of overplayed the fly sweep. And, he's an athlete, and he's a weapon. So glad he's on our team.
To that point, with Jakari showcasing his athleticism, how encouraging is it for you to know that you have a deep stable of horses at that position that can all utilize different skill sets?
Yeah, like I said before, we're in an era where you got to bid on players, and sometimes you get the right ones and sometimes you don't. I think our staff and recruiting department did a good job picking a lot of the right guys. We got to keep developing those guys and coming together as a team, but we got 3 quarterbacks that I feel really good about, and I've been on teams where you're struggling to find one or definitely 2. So when you have somebody get hurt a little like Cam did, it's good to have other guys.
Scott, how excited were you to get some turnovers on the defensive side, some interception and a couple fumbles, and especially the touchdown for the fumble for the touchdown?
Yeah, every game's different. The last game we had a really good amount of yards and didn't score many points, and then you look up tonight and we have a bunch of points and not very many offensive yards because we scored on defense and special teams. But those are the biggest scores in football as far as dictating the outcome of the game. When you score on either one of those, you got a really high percentage chance of winning. If you do it twice, you don't lose very often. So again, that was a product, I think, of the guys having the right mindset coming out and starting fast.
Although there was another weather delay just like last week, did it feel like a more normal game atmosphere in here? What did you think of the bounce outs tonight?
Yeah, they've really improved the game day stuff. I didn't know all that was going to happen. I think Terry spent a lot of money on fireworks tonight. I'm a big fireworks fan. My brother's here tonight. He's in the back, the Jeopardy guy, and his birthday's on July 4th, so that's a big holiday for our family. So I always have a soft spot in my heart for fireworks, and that was cool. If we actually kick off a game at the right time. I hope the thing's jam-packed and rocking, but I really appreciate the fans that were there, and a lot of them stayed for the whole thing.
2-0 start, different kinds of wins. How does this line up with what you thought this team would look like after 2 games?
I didn't know in camp. I didn't know how the team would react when it was live bullets. I think we played better than we did last week, which is good to see. Now we got 2 weeks to get ready for the next one. We really got to utilize this 2 weeks. It can't just be time off and get away from football. We're going to rest the guys and make sure they're right, but we need to come back and attack and take another step. The games are going to get tougher and the opponents are better.
Do you like a week 3 bye at this early stage?
Well, this is one of the odd years where you have 2 byes during the year. So I think ours actually worked out really well. 3 bye week 5 or something like that, bye week, and then we finished. So, or 2 bye week 5, bye week 5. So gives us a couple breaks during the season, but I can't control where those fall. And I think with our young team, it gives us a little extra practice before the next one.
You mentioned learning from adversity in week 1 close matchup. What do you learn about your team in a blowout win like this?
I was impressed with a couple things. Like I said, I was impressed with the way we came out, and we talked about having a nameless, faceless opponent, and coaches talk about that a lot. But I want our kids to have blinders on and not worry about what's happening around the country or anything else, and just be locked in and focused on the task in front of them. They did a good job of that tonight, and I was really excited by the play of some of the younger guys. Those guys, were hungry to get a chance, and they got to play a lot of the second and third quarter, and I'm anxious to watch the tape and see how they did.
2 more.
What are the major points of emphasis you have entering the bye week over the next couple of weeks to get ready for North Carolina?
Discipline and detail is probably what I'm going to hammer home to these guys. Like I said before, it's got to be team first all the time. Be in the right spot with your eyes right alignment, fewer penalties. That's all discipline. And then just the detail of some of the things that we're trying to run schematically in all 3 phases needs to continue to improve. And if you're intentional in practice, that's when it gets better.
Last one.
Coach, talking about those younger guys, I know it's easy to fall in love with what Jaden did tonight. Obviously, we know what Miles can do, but what about a young guy like Stacey Gage getting his first collegiate touchdown and running that ball pretty tough this last quarter?
Yeah, Stacey wasn't with us in the summer, and we got him back in the fall. He did a good job of being in shape and handling his business and coming back. He had a really good spring, had a good fall camp. Feel good about our depth there too. It was really sad to see Swint get hurt a little bit, and we'd have another one. But see why I'm excited about our depth at that position with Miles and Stacey and obviously Jaden, and then Ajman came in and did some good things there at the end too. So it's good to have depth in all the spots.
Thanks, everyone.